As the evening light softens around you, let the gentle rhythm of the present fade into the distance, carried away by a quiet breeze. Imagine yourself stepping from the warmth of your surroundings into the ash-covered streets of Pompeii and the trembling shores of the Bay of Naples, where the air carries the faint scent of sulfur and the distant rumble of Mount Vesuvius. This journey will take you through how Romans dealt with the eruption's devastation in 79 CE, the heroic efforts of Pliny the Elder, the mystery of buried cities, and the contrasting life of a Roman patrician during the crisis, all woven into a soothing narrative to guide you toward rest. Settle into the stillness, and let the rhythm of their resilience begin to ease your mind as we embark on this peaceful voyage through history. As the faint tramp of marching boots lingers in your mind, let us step softly into the life of a Roman legionary in 50 CE, stationed along the sun-scorched frontier of Britannia, where the rhythm of duty shapes every moment. Imagine yourself awakening in a canvas tent, the air cool with the scent of dew-soaked grass and the faint tang of leather from your armor. The landscape stretches before your rolling hills under a pale dawn sky, the sound of a distant river flowing gently, a relentless call to action. Settle into the steady pace of his unyielding existence, and let the quiet details guide your thoughts as we explore why rest was a rare luxury. Picture the tent, its rough fabric sagging slightly under the weight of morning mist. The texture coarse as you brush against it to rise. The ground beneath is hard-packed earth, covered with a thin straw mat, its scratchy surface a constant companion as you adjust your sandals. The air grows warm with the scent of camp smoke as the legionary prepares his hands, steady as he straps on a larica segmentata, the metal plates cool and heavy. Against his chest, the sound of buckles clicking, a gentle rhythm. Outside, the first light reveals a sprawling camp, its wooden palisades standing tall, the scent of baking bread from the ovens, a faint comfort amid the constant demand for readiness. His day begins with the call to march. Imagine walking the muddy track outside the tent, the air thick with the scent of damp earth, and the faint tang of sweat from his comrades, the sound of hobnailed boots striking the ground a steady beat. The constant struggle is to keep pace, his legs aching from yesterday's patrol. The texture of his pilomet's wooden shaft, smooth, its iron tip sharp cool in his grip as he adjusts it. The air carries the distant bark of a centurion's orders, the rhythm of the column a relentless pulse, the horizon dotted with the silhouettes of other legionaries, their red cloaks swaying gently in the breeze. Midday brings a brief pause, yet rest eludes him. Picture halting on a grassy knoll, the air warmed by the sun, the scent of wild thyme crushed underfoot, a subtle relief, the sound of waterskins sloshing as they are passed around. His meal is simple hard barley bread, its texture dry but filling, and a sip of pasca, the vinegary taste a quiet solace, the metal cup cool against his lips. The constant struggle is to eat quickly, the air filled with the murmur of soldiers sharing news, the rhythm of their voices a gentle hum. The scent of leather repairs lingers as he mends a sandal strap, the texture of the thread rough under his fingers. The day's march looming once more. The afternoon demands labor beyond marching. Imagine standing at a camp construction site, the air heavy with the scent of freshly cut timber and the faint temps of sweat, the sound of axes chopping wood, a steady cadence. The constant struggle is to dig trenches or raise ramparts. His hands blistered from the shovel, the earth cool and gritty as it shifts beneath him. The air carries the distant clatter of a blacksmith's hammer, the rhythm of their work, a continuous pulse, the texture of a completed wall, smooth as he pats it down. The legionary's body aches, yet the day's tasks press on, the air stilling with the weight of their unending duty. This life carries the shadow of vigilance. The air grows cool as evening approaches, the scent of damp wool thick as he adjusts his cloak during a night watch. Lives sometimes threatened by ambushes, though we need not dwell on the details. The sound of a wolf's howl in the distance prompts a tense silence, the constant struggle to stay alert. The air filled with the faint aroma of burning pine from a watchfire. His dreams are of Rome, the texture of marble temples, a distant memory. The rhythm of his patrol, a test of endurance, as he leans on his spear, the ground hard beneath his feet. As night falls, the camp grows still, the air warm with the scent of embers from dying fires, the sound of snoring from nearby tents, a gentle lullaby. He returns to his mat, the texture of the straw rough against his weary body, the constant struggle to find rest overshadowed by the next day's march. The air carries the soft hum of the wind, the village beyond the camp settling into silence, broken only by the occasional crackle of flames. Imagine yourself there, the coolness of the earth easing your thoughts, the rhythm of this legionary's tireless life slowing your mind, guiding you toward rest as we prepare to leave this frontier world behind. As the quiet rhythm of the Pompeian survivors' escape fades into the stillness of the Bay of Naples night, let us gently turn our thoughts to a figure of courage and curiosity, Pliny, the elder whose steady resolve shaped the response to Vesuvius' fury on August 24th to 25th, X79 CE. Imagine yourself standing on the deck of a Roman Liburnian galley, the air cool with the scent of salt water and the faint tang of smoke drifting from the erupting mountain. The sound of oars dipping rhythmically blends with the distant roar of Vesuvius, a pulse that guides us into his heroic mission. Settle into the measured pace of this voyage, and let the rhythm of his actions ease your mind as we explore this pivotal chapter. Picture the galley, its wooden hull creaking softly under the gentle swell, the texture smooth yet weathered by the sea, the air growing warm with the scent of pitch from the caulked seams and the faint aroma of damp sails. Pliny, a stout man in his mid-50s with a scholarly air, stands at the prow, his toga of fine wool fluttering slightly, the fabric cool against his skin as he adjusts his stance. His face, framed by a short beard, carries a mix of determination and fascination, the constant struggle to observe and act, his hands steady as he grips a wax tablet, the stylus scratching softly to record the unfolding disaster. The sound of the crew's low murmurs blends with the lapping waves, the rhythm of his command, a quiet beat. The mission begins with a call to aid. Imagine the moment at Misenum, the air cool with the scent of olive groves and the faint tang of ash, the sound of a messenger's urgent voice cutting through the naval base's stillness. The constant struggle is to mobilize, his hands rough as he dons a military cloak, the texture of the wool warm against his shoulders. The air fills with the clatter of armor as his fleet prepares, the rhythm of their departure a steady pulse, the scent of tar from the docks lingering as he boards. Pliny, admiral of the fleet and author of the Naturalis Historia, sees this as both duty and opportunity, the ground trembling faintly underfoot as they set sail toward Stabia. The voyage unfolds with scientific intent. Picture the galley cutting through the waves, the air heavy with the scent of brine and the faint aroma of burning pumice, the sound of oars, a gentle cadence. The constant struggle is to navigate the chaos, his eyes fixed on the darkening sky, the texture of a scroll case smooth in his hands as he dictates observations to a scribe. The air carries the distant wail of fleeing villagers, the rhythm of their strokes a measured beat, the scent of sulfur growing stronger as they approach. The ground beneath the sea seems to shift, the boat rocking softly. The sound of Pliny's voice, a steady hum as he notes the mountain's plumes. Rescue efforts intensify at Stabia. Imagine anchoring near the shore, the air warm with the scent of ashfall and the faint temps of charred wood. The sound of a collapsing villa, a dull thud. The constant struggle is to save lives, his hands blistered from helping survivors aboard. The texture of a wet cloak rough against his skin. The air fills with the murmur of the rescued, the rhythm of their loading a gentle pulse, the scent of seawater mixing with the ash as he directs the crew. The ground trembles violently, the texture of the dock splintering underfoot, the air stilling with the weight of the pyroclastic surge's approach. His curiosity persists amid danger. Picture, standing on the beach, the air heavy with the scent of sulfur and the faint aroma of extinguished fires, the sound of waves crashing a soft echo. The constant struggle is to document the eruption, his hands steady as he adjusts his tablet, the wax warm under his stylus, the texture smooth as he sketches the ash cloud. The air carries the distant cry of a bird, the rhythm of his notes a meditative beat, the scent of burning vines from nearby fields a quiet clue. The ground grows hot, the texture of the sand shifting as he pauses, the air filled with the murmur of his companions urging retreat. This mission carries the shadow of sacrifice. The air grows thick with the scent of volcanic gas as the surge nears. Lives sometimes claimed by the fumes, though we need not dwell on the details. The sound of a crew member's cough prompts a tense silence, the constant struggle to persevere. The air filled with the faint aroma of medicinal herbs from a medic's kit. The rhythm of his resolve builds, the texture of a rope slippery in his hands as he assists the last survivor, the ground shaking beneath him. As night falls, the galley retreats, the air cool with the scent of salt water and the faint hum of the sea, the sound of oars dipping a gentle lullaby. Pliny rests on a bench, the texture of the wood hard yet comforting, the constant struggle to breathe, overshadowed by his final moments. The air carries the soft crash of waves, the coastline fading into the darkness, the rhythm of his legacy, a quiet pulse. Imagine yourself there, the coolness of the sea easing your thoughts, the rhythm of this heroism slowing your mind, guiding you toward rest as we prepare to explore the next chapter of this story. As the quiet echoes of the Battle of Bosworth fade into the stillness of the Leicestershire night, let us gently turn our thoughts toward the steady artistry of Henry VII's reign, a time of consolidation that shaped a fractured England, the year stretching forward from 1485. Imagine yourself standing in the dim corridors of Westminster Palace, the air cool with the scent of wax candles and the faint temps of aged parchment. The sound of a distant clock ticking blends with the rustle of robes, a rhythm that guides us into the mystery of his rule, uncovered through records and relics. Settle into the measured pace of this era, and let the rhythm of his governance ease your mind as we explore this quiet transformation. Picture the palace, its stone walls worn smooth by time, the texture cool under your hand as you trace the carvings of royal crests. The interior glows softly with the flicker of tallow lamps, the air heavy with the smoky aroma of burning beeswax and the earthy scent of oak beams overhead. Henry's throne room is a place of order, its floor of polished tiles reflecting the light. The sound of his advisors' footsteps, a gentle cadence as they approach. The constant struggle is to secure his crown, his hands steady as he reviews a ledger, the parchment crinkling softly, the ink a dark stain marking taxes and alliances. The air carries the faint hum of a scribe's quill, the rhythm of his early reign, a quiet pulse of determination. His financial reforms begin with a meticulous approach. Imagine sitting at a long table in a treasury chamber, the air warmed by a small fire, the texture of the wood smooth under your fingers as you handle a stack of accounts. The scent of leather-bound books fills the room, the sound of coins clinking softly as they are counted by a clerk, the metal cool to the touch. Henry introduces the chamber system, a personal oversight of revenue, the constant struggle to rebuild a war-torn treasury, the rhythm of his calculations a steady beat. The air grows thick with the aroma of sealing wax, the texture of a royal seal warm as he presses it into the wax, the sound of parchment rustling as decrees are dispatched to the shires. Alliances form the backbone of his stability. Picture a meeting in a candlelit hall, the air cool with the scent of damp stone and the faint temps of wine from goblets on the table. The texture of a treaty scroll is smooth in his hands, the ink still fresh. The constant struggle to negotiate with foreign powers like Spain and Scotland, the rhythm of diplomacy, a gentle exchange. The sound of a translator's voice blends with the crackle of the fire, the air filled with the murmur of advisors, their robes brushing softly against the floor. Henry's marriage to Elizabeth of York, a union to heal the wars of the roses, is sealed with a quiet ceremony. The texture of her velvet gown, a contrast to his simple tunic, the air heavy with the scent of rosewater. The mystery deepens with his suppression of rebellions. Imagine walking the palace gardens at dusk, the air still with the scent of clipped hedges and the faint tang of earth, the sound of a guard's boots, a soft echo. The constant struggle is to quell uprisings like Lambert Simnel's claim. The rhythm of his response, a measured deployment of troops, the air filled with the distant clatter of armor. Records from 1487, uncovered by historians in 2025, reveal his use of spies, the texture of coded letters smooth under scrutiny, the scent of ink a quiet clue to his vigilance. The air grows heavy with the weight of suspicion. Lives sometimes poured out onto the ground, though we need not dwell on the details. Archaeological insights enrich this tale. Picture a modern dig site near Richmond Palace, the air cool as tents flap softly in the wind, the ground marked with strings to guide excavation. The sound of trowels scraping against stone blends with the murmur of archaeologists, their voices low as they uncover a coin hoard from Henry's reign, the metal cool and etched with his profile. The constant struggle for scholars is to piece together his legacy, the rhythm of their analysis, a steady process of dating and cataloging. The air in the lab, thick with the aroma of preservative chemicals. Recent exposts from August 2025 highlight a ledger find. The texture of the parchment fragile, revealing his frugal habits. His cultural patronage emerges as a quiet force. Imagine a chapel under construction, the air filled with the scent of fresh mortar and the faint tang of paint. the sound of chisels tapping stone, a gentle rhythm. The constant struggle is to fund projects like the Lady Chapel at Westminster, the texture of marble, smooth under the mason's hands, the air heavy with the aroma of incense during its consecration. The rhythm of his reign stabilizes, the sound of a choir's soft chant blending with the rustle of robes, the air stilling as his legacy takes shape. As evening deepens, Henry retires to his chambers, the air warm with the scent of cedar and the faint hum of the wind outside. He sits by a fire, the texture of a wooden chair, hard yet comforting, tracing accounts on parchment, the quill scratching softly. The constant struggle gives way to a moment of reflection. The rhythm of his power, a steady pulse, the air filled with the promise of a dynasty. Imagine yourself there, the warmth of the palace easing your thoughts, the rhythm of this era slowing your mind, guiding you toward rest as we prepare to explore the next chapter of his life. As the quiet rhythm of the buried city's secrets fades into the stillness of the Pompeii night, let us gently turn our thoughts to a world of privilege and peril, carried by the soft rustle of silk curtains in a seaside villa. Imagine yourself standing at the threshold of a patrician's home near Stabia, the year locked in the chaos of August 24th to 25th. 79 CE, the air warm with the scent of perfumed oils and the faint hum of servants moving within. This is the life of a Roman patrician, perhaps, a wealthy merchant named Gaius during Vesuvius' fury, a stark contrast to the citizen's struggle, where the rhythm of luxury meets the tremor of disaster. Settle into the measured pace of this sanctuary, and let the rhythm of his sheltered existence guide your mind as we explore this contrasting reality. Picture the villa, a sprawling structure of white stucco and red-tiled roofs, its walls adorned with frescoes of pastoral scenes, the texture smooth yet cracked by the first tremors, the air inside rich with the scent of myrrh incense and the subtle tang of spilled wine from a shaken table. The floor is covered with a mosaic of swirling patterns, its coolness a luxury under your sandals, and a long triclinium table dominates the space its surface, scarred by goblets and platters, the sound of a slave's footsteps, a gentle cadence. This is the domain of Gaius, his face lined with concern yet composed, his tunic of fine linen embroidered with gold thread, the fabric soft against his skin as he adjusts his toga. The constant struggle is to maintain this opulence, a quiet undercurrent beneath the growing chaos. The day begins with a disrupted ritual. Imagine him awakening on a cushioned lectus, its frame of carved cedar draped with silk. The softness, a stark contrast to the citizen's straw mat, the texture smooth against his body. His chamber is warmed by a brazier, the air thick with the scent of burning cedar, and the faint aroma of lavender from a silver bowl. The sound of a tremor rattling the shutters, a gentle shock. He dresses in a toga of purple-dyed wool, its hem heavy with gold embroidery, the weight a symbol of status, the air filled with the rustle of fabric as a slave assists. His breakfast is abundant fresh figs, their juice staining a pewter plate, and a cup of honeyed wine, the sweet flavors filling the air as he eats slowly, the rhythm of his meal, a deliberate pause to assess the situation. His routine shifts to crisis management. Picture him walking the peristyle garden, the air cool with the scent of crushed roses and the faint tang of ash drifting in, his sandals clicking softly on the marble path. The sound of a slave's report blends with the murmur of the household, the texture of a velvet cushion soft beneath him as he sits to confer, the constant struggle to organize an evacuation. The air carries the faint aroma of beeswax from candles, and he traces a wax tablet with a stylus, the surface warm under his fingers, the rhythm of his decisions a steady pulse. The villa shields him from the worst, the air purified with burning sage, a privilege denied to the streets beyond the walls. The court serves as a refuge, a place where the elite seek solace. Imagine an afternoon gathering in the triclinium, the air thick with the aroma of roasted peacock and the soft clink of silver goblets as family and guests dine. The table is laden with platters of olives and aged cheese, the texture of the fruit firm in their hands, and the conversation flows in a gentle hum, punctuated by the occasional nervous laugh. Musicians play a kithora, its notes humming a slow tune, the sound blending with the crackle of the brazier. Slaves move silently, their footsteps muffled on the rugs, the air filled with the scent of baked bread from the kitchens. The constant struggle to sustain this calm, a quiet effort beneath the surface, yet this elite existence carries its own tensions. Gaius must protect his wealth, his days filled with the constant struggle to secure valuables. As ash falls, the air sometimes tense with the weight of uncertainty. The scent of a courier's horse lingers as news arrives, lives sometimes lost in the fleeing masses, though we need not dwell on the details. The rhythm of his life, overseeing the household, receiving updates, resting in a cushioned chairs, tempered by the need to maintain dignity, the air filled with the scent of incense to ward off fear. The constant struggle is to project strength. His family gathered around the table, their voices a soft murmur as they discuss escape routes. Outside the villa, the citizens' world continues in contrast. Picture the streets where they toil, the ash clinging to their sandals, the air heavy with the scent of sulfur and despair, their stomachs empty from abandoned meals. Their nights are spent in cramped shelters, the sound of the wind a constant hum. While Gaius retires to a warm bed, the scent of lavender lingering. The citizens' hands are rough from clearing rubble, their days a relentless cycle of survival, while his are softened by the stylus and the reins, his life a steady flow of privilege. This divide, heightened by the eruption, defines the rhythm of that fateful day, a quiet interplay of endurance and ease. The afternoon brings a pause, the rhythm of the villa slowing. Imagine Gaius sitting in a tablinum, the air warm with the scent of beeswax candles, the texture of a velvet cushion soft beneath him as he reads from a scroll of Virgil, the parchment crackling softly. The sound of a flute drifts from the peristyle, the air filled with the gentle melody, the constant struggle to maintain culture. Amid the crisis, a quiet ambition. The slaves move silently, their footsteps muffled on the rugs, the air carrying the faint aroma of roasting meat from the kitchens. The rhythm of their labor a steady pulse. The evening deepens with a final council, the air still with the scent of cedar and the faint hum of the wind outside. He sits at the table, the texture of the wood hard yet polished, tracing plans on a wax tablet, the stylus scratching softly. The constant struggle is to decide their fate. The rhythm of his leadership, a testament to composure, the air filled with the murmur of advisors. The villa grows quiet, the slaves retiring, the air heavy with the promise of rest. The contrast between his world and the citizens' struggle lingering in the stillness. Imagine yourself there, the warmth of the villa easing your thoughts, the rhythm of this privilege slowing your mind, guiding you toward rest as we prepare to draw our journey to a close. As the quiet rhythm of the patrician's villa fades into the stillness of the Stabia night, let the steady pulse of Vesuvius' aftermath gently slip away, carried by the soft sigh of the wind through the ash-laden groves. Imagine yourself stepping back from the trembling streets and privileged homes, the scent of sulfur and perfumed oils lingering faintly in the air, the sound of the volcano's roar growing distant. This journey through how Romans dealt with the eruption's devastation, the heroic efforts of Pliny the Elder, the mystery of the buried cities, and the contrasting life of a Roman patrician has woven a tapestry of resilience and adaptation, a steady thread in the fabric of history. The Rome of their time was a world of sudden chaos and stark divides, their days filled with the scent of ash-soaked streets, the murmur of rescue boats, the smoky air of collapsing roofs. Their hands, rough from survival or softened by wealth, faced the mountain's fury, while the patrician's life balanced privilege with peril. The shadow of loss and bravery touched their world, lives sometimes buried beneath the ash. But these moments were softened by the passage of time, woven into the broader rhythm of Rome's recovery. Now, as the night deepens around you, let that distant world fade into the warmth of the present. The heat of their crisis is replaced by the gentle comfort of your surroundings, the sound of their struggles by the quiet of your space. The ash-covered villas give way to the peace of your own room, where the air carries no tension and the rhythm of their lives blends into a lullaby for your thoughts. Picture the braziers' glow dimming, the wind outside a mere whisper, and allow your mind to drift, carried by the steady flow of history into the peace of sleep. As this journey ends, let the echoes of their world linger only as a gentle memory, a contrast to the ease you now feel, the rhythm of their survival, the warmth of the patrician's home, the weight of their resilience sullen settle into silence, guiding you toward rest. Sleep now, and let the past fade into the quiet night.